Hi, welcome to class. Today, we first started off talking about the Incas. Um, and I just briefly went over this one PowerPoint slide about Incas. Incas are one of the largest in Mesoamerica that they extended along pretty much the entire coast of South America. So they're most famous for going through Peru. They're also famous for what is called terraced um, farming, which I have a really cool picture of that. Terrace farming, since they lived in the mountains, they had to build these things. They look like steps. That terrace farming really allowed them to add additional land and to have good farming. That they were really strong and good about adapting to their environment. Um, they're probably most famous for Machu Picchu. It's one of the world's famous. It's one of the top 7 world wonders of the world. It still stands very strong with their different temples. It's gorgeous because it's on top of a mountain that you can see the sunrise when it goes through. Some of their other accomplishments, they didn't have a writing system, but they did have a record system that they did these things with these knots and ropes, which I'll show you a picture here in a minute, um, with different colorful ropes to help keep a thorough record of things. Their other one was building suspension bridges, which we take advantage now that we have these bridges. But back in that time period, they really did not have this type of development. They were also famous probably for the most making roads. Mayans and Aztecs are known for making roads, but Incas by far probably built the most. Roads are very important, especially living in a mountaintop, um, because you're going to need an easier way to travel from mountain to mountain. Because they lived in mountains, they were excellent goldsmiths. So they were actually the wealthiest at one point because they had easy access to gold being in those mountains. And then lastly, my personal favorite is potatoes. They were the first to harvest potatoes, mainly because of this concept called freeze drying, which you're going to learn about today. That potatoes are really easier to farm on a mountain. That they realize, you can preserve them; they don't really go bad if you freeze them. So they're actually the number one producer at one point in time for the world for potatoes. So what we did in class today, we did this assignment called technology. And I did explain this bell ringer, just so you do realize technology, when you hear the word technology, it does not just mean simple computers or cell phones. Technology is anything that makes your life easier. It is anything that we make that makes our life easier. So, for example, if I wear a winter coat, that is a form of technology because it keeps me warm in the winter. So technology, it has a wide range. Another word for technology are things like inventions. So we're going to learn about Mayans, Aztecs, Incas, and how they really use technology to adapt to their environment. So what I told the entire class, on your end where it says title on the left-hand side, you are literally just using the title that's on the slideshow. So for example, Mayans, you have astronomy and calendar building is your first one, and you put that there. For the information, you are summarizing. Again, summarizing does not mean you highlight and copy and paste. It means you read this and you pull out what you think is important. That if you had to explain this to someone, what would you tell them was important about this brief thing that you're reading? You do this for every single one. So once you get done with calendars, you then go to innovation and tools and read this. These are very simple to read. And try to pull out what you think was interesting or important. You do this for all civilizations. So Mayans, Aztecs, and then Incas. Once you do that, once you're done summarizing, you're then going to do your FPT technology. That is like your exit slip. You pick one civilization, so either Mayans, Aztecs, or Incas. Please make sure you write it down. Some of you are talking, you pick a civilization, but you don't tell me in your writing which one it is. So then I have no idea what you're talking about. So you pick one and then talk about their technologies. Okay, so for example, say you picked Incas. So if you chose Incas because you like Incas, you would talk about, hey, they invented roads because they lived in a mountain. They created these rope bridges because they lived in a mountain and that makes it easier to walk. They invented terrace farming, and you talk about these inventions. Okay, but what I do not want for your summary, because a lot of you are doing this, you're just highlighting and copying and pasting. I need you to stop highlighting and copying and pasting. Okay, put this in your own words. That if you had to explain to someone what did the Incas make, what was their technology, tell me what that is. And then you would